Welcome to Worldview 2's Washington Report. It is March 31st, 2026, and I'm joined once again by Jim Pfaff of the Conservative Caucus.com. We have some tweets by President Trump this morning going pretty hard against some of the NATO countries, in particularly with the country of France. We'll go ahead and just get started here. The country of France wouldn't let planes headed to Israel loaded up with military supplies fly over French territory. France has been very unhelpful with respect to the butcher of Iran who was successfully eliminated. The USA will remember. So, Jim, I thought at first when I read that over, I thought they wouldn't let him land there to, refuel and stuff. They won't even let him fly over the country.
I mean, and that's a typical thing. I mean, this is in the region. This is one of the challenges with Turkey, who is also a NATO member, is every once in a while, if we're doing military operations, they'll keep us, even though we've got a base there, the Incirlik base in Turkey, they'll restrict use of our base. They restrict flyover of anything we might do. So sometimes, what this should keep in the front of our mind is that Donald Trump's been very right about the NATO situation. NATO is not acting in a friendly manner, not just in this regard, but in general. I totally agree with his argument that NATO is unhelpful, even though we've been to the tune of literally trillions of dollars since the 1940s, helpful to them in their defense. Whether we should have done it or not, by the way, that's a different discussion, but we have done it. And they have not taken responsibility. They can't build up their own freaking defense. And now when we're undertaking operations as an ally, formally joined to them as an ally in NATO, they can't allow such things. It's obscene and it's absurd. I'm all for getting rid of NATO. Leave them to themselves. Mm-hmm. It's been a real albatross around our neck for a long period of time. And we could save a lot of money by just letting them deal with themselves. And then the argument's going to come back, well, NATO formed for two reasons. One, for self-protection, but two, to keep the countries aligned so we don't have another world war out of Europe. Well, okay, that risk is always there. I'm not even sure that it's kept such things from happening or that us pulling out would change that, because those countries are now economically aligned to the European Union. Let them figure it out on their own.
Yep, and including to that tweet I read before, or True Social, he also put this out this morning. All those countries that can't get fuel because of the Strait of Hormuz, like the United Kingdom, which refused to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, I have a suggestion for you. Number one, buy from the U.S. We have plenty. And number two, build up some delayed courage, go to the Strait and just take it. You'll have to start learning how to fight for yourself. The USA won't be there to help you anymore. Just like you weren't there for us, Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done. Go get your own oil. So he's making the case. They use the Strait. We don't really use the Strait as President Trump has said.
My understanding, I can't remember the number, but my understanding is somewhere in the order of maybe 10% of any oil we consume comes out of the Strait of Hormuz. Mm-hmm. And of course, we keep growing and growing in our production of it. And it's going to continue to grow even more here in the U.S. because we're presently at $100 a barrel. And there have been a lot of inactive wells that are getting ramped up very quickly in the United States. You're actually probably going to see numbers rise more than anyone's thinking about right now. I mean, the people that deal with the markets are thinking about it. They know what's happening. It's going to be huge. I was acquainted with, I should say, a wildcatter in the Oklahoma area when I was doing political work in the Kansas area. He goes up and down in his keeping his wells active. He's a very wealthy guy, but he is a smaller player, and he only brings his wells up when he can afford to do it. And $40 a barrel doesn't do it for him. $100 a barrel will. Mm-hmm. So you're going to see new development, which Donald Trump's administration is allowing, and then you're going to see older inactive wells gain out the rest that is there. I don't know if people know this, but locally here in the United States, there's about a year of high what do I want to say, high production on any oil well here in the United States. Then it tails off very quickly. They'll keep it going, but it's just smaller amounts of production thereafter. So when you're at $100 a barrel, if you can get a well up and running in a couple months, that can be totally worth it. And once that gets going, they're going to keep that well going. The price is still going to be in the 70s or 80s. You're just going to see a lot of that kind of development happening. But these other wells that have already passed that first year that have shut down because prices maybe weren't high enough, there's every reason to go ahead and just bring up what you can right now. So this is really going to we're not going to be ultimately that harmed. We're short-term harmed. But Europe, they're messed up. Mm-hmm. And this is really something that is important for them. And in Asia as well, too. So I don't know why he's not calling on Asian countries to get involved as well. They should. Yep.
Well, staying on Iran for just a minute, he talked about how they're being decapitated. Here's just last night a video of, I think, a joint U.S.-Israeli airstrike taking out, I think, what is being said as an ammunitions depot. And it's some big explosions there that were coming out on X from last night. So it just shows that they're continuing to strike. I think Pete Hegseth said this morning they had over 200 strikes yesterday. And he also claimed that there's more ships coming to the Strait than ever before, or since the beginning of the war. So,
yeah, I mean, it is true. It's more than the beginning of the war, but I don't know if it's a lot yet.
Yeah.
The Strait of Hormuz thing is not figured out. And that's in part why Donald Trump's telling them, hey, you take care of it.
Yeah.
He's trying to, in his mind, get rid of a regime that is a nuclear threat. That's ultimately the core of what his concern is, and his policy is stopping the Iranian nuclear threat. The rest of it, I really do believe he's like, guys, figure it out for yourselves. Now, do not underestimate that the Arab states in the area, they don't want Donald Trump to pull out and leave things to get fixed, because it can be more chaos for them. And I can guarantee you that they're talking to the Trump administration about, please don't do that. So there's still a whole lot up in the air right now. A lot of this is, just a shot across the bow to Europe. But so the short-term effect may not be that they get involved, but the long-term effect is they're harming their relationship with us. And that we're at a breaking point in that right now, after they've really taken advantage of us over decades.
Well, let's move to another breaking story. The Supreme Court has ruled against Colorado's ban on conversion therapy aimed at LGBTQ youth, which conversion therapy would just basically be a therapist or a pastor or someone wanting to talk to someone, to a minor about their identity. If they're come to them with supposed problems or wanting to transition,
get out of homosexuality.
Yeah, then
that's what the conversion therapy is about. Yeah,
Colorado was trying to stop these therapists or pastors or even parents probably from telling these kids the truth.
Well, so what this law did, and this was kind of playing out when I was working in the state legislature there many years ago, what this law does is it's not merely about stopping licensed therapists from helping people convert out of homosexuality. That's probably what a lot of people think this bill is about. It goes much deeper into into the pastoral field. Mm-hmm. So people that are non-licensed and would encourage, based upon a teaching of Scripture and providing pastoral care in a general sense in this regard, it restricted them as well and made them liable to civil and criminal penalties. This is at its core a censorship of speech. It is a use of government force to impose cultural preferences, and it is and it's a violation of individual rights. It also, beyond that, beyond the legislative effect, this is antithetical to human reality. listen, we are in a free society, so people can live how they want. They just don't get the right to impose that on other people. And that's what's going on with the left here. The left, under the guise of let people live how they want to live and quit getting on them, now wants to make everyone conform and accept these behaviors. This is part of that overall strategy. This was so obviously in violation of the Constitution. I mean, many of the rights in the Bill of Rights, and definitely fundamentally beyond what the rest of the base part of the Constitution provides for states to do, that you had Elena Kagan and Sonia Sotomayor, two of the people voting this down. The only person that voted not to overturn this law was Ketanji Brown Jackson, who, quite frankly, I think is not only dumb, she's a political hack. I mean, I feel that way a bit about Sotomayor and Kagan, but I actually know that those two women are intelligent women. They just use their intelligence in the wrong way and from a certain perspective. And under a certain theory of law, that's usually wrong. But they even can get how this is violative of basic human rights. So kudos to the Supreme Court for knocking this down. And this precedent needs to propagate because there are similar laws in other states. This needs to go by the wayside. It's not the government's responsibility to determine how psychologists are going to perform their duties. And definitely they have no place at all to tell pastors what they're going to do. Psychologists and pastors make mistakes in how they counsel people. That's always going to happen. This is a human endeavor. It's not the government's responsibility, unless an actual criminal act has been undertaken, to tell people in the outset of their desire for pastoral care and personal ministry to people, to tell them from the outset what they can and cannot do. Those things get adjudicated with other laws where real harm might be done on the back end, and it has to be specific. It can't be about trying to convert someone to Christ, because that ultimately is where this gets to, but also convert someone to take on a heterosexual lifestyle. We make these choices and these adjudications in culture all the time, and government has no role in determining how that is done, for good, bad, or ill.
Yeah, and in Ketanji Brown Jackson's dissenting, she put, ultimately scientific evidence supports the conclusion that the anticipated harms from conversion therapy are twofold. First, conversion therapy stigmatizes the patient, telling them that their gender identity or sexual orientation is something to be fixed rather than accepted. I mean, isn't the court supposed to go based off of...
She's pulling that out of thin air.
Yeah.
What does that mean? It's subjective, and we don't go by the science, because we know that science has been twisted. That's one thing. Science does not show what she said. But here's where she claims the harm is. She claims the harm is that someone's stigmatized. Mm-hmm. Are you kidding me? You've got no King's protesters out there stigmatizing people all the time. In recent years, you had government entities censoring speech and stigmatizing Christian belief all the time. Stigmatization is not an ultimate value, or lack of people being stigmatized is not an ultimate value. Every murderer, every thief, they all should be stigmatized, because we cannot have that behavior in society. We need to get back to a place where we understand that God is the ultimate authority and judge in the universe, and that he has laid out laws that are good for mankind that we should not violate. Where we need to pass laws when those violations take place, like murder and thievery and some of these things where you need restitution, or someone has committed a heavily violent crime, we need to do that. Where it does not require a law to be passed, adultery and things like that, you don't have to pass a law on adultery. I guess you can, but those are going to be adjudicated by God. None of the stigmatization that comes with any of those moral laws, when you have violated them, should ever be taken out of society. You need a stigma against immoral behavior, whether that's through a law or whether that's through rejection in society. And without that, societies go astray, they go wild.
And she's basically saying that she's not ruling on facts. She's ruling on feelings, right? She's worried about the feelings of someone rather than the facts of the situation. And that's not, I mean, the court is supposed to rule on facts, not feelings.
My hope is that Bernie Madoff and anyone that facilitated him and anyone that was harmed by him would be stigmatized by the situation and feel really, really bad about it. Because feeling really, really bad about what Bernie Madoff did doesn't just send him to prison, as he rightly went to prison because he was a fraudster. But it should make every one of us in society a whole lot cautious about how we're going to deal with our financial matters and any other cultural or moral matter that comes up. Without stigma, societies devolve into chaos. And without a stigma, without a corrective in culture, then you've got a real problem. So this way, where we're at right now, just to going a little long on this, but where we're at right now is that Americans have been put under a stigma that they are supposed to accept trans people. There's no reason for that to happen. And look where the lack of stigma has taken us. We have successive mass shootings by trans people. The majority of recent mass shootings are undertaken by people that are trans. If there's no stigma to anything you do, then things get out of hand. And because we have placed no stigma, or because we placed in culture a stigma against people who oppose the trans lifestyle, we have authorized trans people to feel like they can express violence in whatever form to push back against the stigmatism that they're receiving. And that causes chaos. That is something we need to be against. Ketanji Brown Jackson, I mean, she's flat out either fully corrupt or completely stupid. And I don't know which to tag on her. It goes back and forth.
Yep. Well, we got to go to break. We come back. We got some news on the DHS shutdown and more. We'll be right back.
We have a big announcement, folks. It's called Bella Melt. In the first week, you lost 3 pounds on this, right?
That is correct.
Your GLP-1 is a natural hormone that's in every single one of our bodies. And your GLP-1 lets you know if you're full. It's a satiety hormone. So when your GLP is working properly, it does help suppress your appetite as well as reduce those cravings. So what it's going to do best is it's going to reduce your sugar cravings or any other cravings you have in your body. It's going to suppress that appetite. But where Melissa got the most benefit, I think, over the last week was the L-carnitine. The L-carnitine tells your mitochondria, this is where you make, we've talked about it before, this is where you produce energy in your cells. It actually tells those mitochondria to burn fat for fuel.
MelissaHouseBG.com just now introducing for the first time Bella Melt with GLP-1 fast action.
All right, welcome back from the break. Speaker Mike Johnson went on Fox and was talking about the DHS shutdown, and he had this to say about the Democrats' proposal for the budget, including border security and ICE.
The outrage and the reason we were so upset, Lawrence, is because they sent us a bill that literally put the number 0 in the bill for the funding of border security and customs and immigration enforcement. We can't do that. That was the biggest issue in the 2024 election, and it's outrageous to us. Just in those two agencies, CBP and ICE, you're talking about 98,000 hardworking Americans, self-sacrificing people who have to pay their mortgages and put food on the table. They wanted to zero them out. We cannot be a part of that. So we're calling on everybody. Look, the House members are in their districts working right now. We can bring them back on a moment's notice for a vote. The Senate has to do their job and help us on this heavy lift. We have to get the government funded, and they're playing games with real people's lives. The outrage.
So they were putting the number 0 down in the bill for border security.
I mean, and the only way that this was able to happen is with the help of John Thune. Like, this was not Chuck Schumer sticking something into the bill. This was a unanimous consent motion on the floor at 2:19 in the morning on, I think it was on early Friday morning, and no message to anyone in the House. They didn't tell Mike Johnson what they were doing. And this was John Thune agreeing with Chuck Schumer to put $0 on that. Well, let's just think about the absurdity of this. Listen, Democrats are not smart. They're not. There are very few intelligent Democrats out there, and even they are bought into the system that's there. Democrats win anything in this country for two reasons. The first reason is that Republicans are feckless and weak. They do not respond to what Democrats do. They don't fight for it. They're not willing to fight for it. They back off because it's kind of like if anyone that's seen the movie Patton kind of a little more midway through the movie is about to speak to a group of British ladies in some sort of coffee society because he's kind of in the wilderness because of problems that came up with the way he dealt with his troops, and they threw him in the wilderness for a little bit before they sent him back to Europe to fight. So he has just bought a dog, and it seems like a really rough, tough dog, and he claims it's that. And one of these ladies has a tiny little dog bark at his big, gruff dog, and that dog backs off. And in fear from the tiny dog. This is what Republicans are like. They've got the meat. They're big dogs if they want to be because they claim to stand for the principles that America was founded on. But if you get a little tiny stupid poodle like Chuck Schumer barking at you, then you walk back in fear. This is the reason. These are the two reasons why Democrats win: Republican fecklessness and a lack of some opposing viewpoint. Democrats are offering nothing right now in the way of what they would do if they take the House and the Senate back. They don't offer any plans except to impeach Donald Trump and to reopen the borders. And that's what Mike Johnson's so upset with John Thune about. And rightly so, he should be. And now he needs to do the fighting. And apparently they are on this issue at least. But the second reason that Democrats win elections is entirely because one of the biggest issues related to what just happened in the Senate, and that's the Save America Act. Democrats have successfully utilized the courts. They successfully utilized the COVID pandemic to change our election laws radically. Like, we were not a perfect election system prior to 25 years ago, but we're a highly imperfect one now. And the Save America Act would take us back to a good but imperfect system that existed beforehand. And then here's the last point I want to make. Democrats have been stealing elections forever. From the 1960 John Kennedy election, where they stole Illinois and West Virginia by clear voter fraud, and many times since. They attempted voter fraud in 2000 to get Al Gore elected. I mean, Palm Beach County in Florida, the clerk that was running Palm Beach County elections eventually got indicted because she was conducting fraudulent elections and a fraudulent office in general. So Democrats have been working to do this for a long time now. And it's time that we stop it by pushing back against them with a real fight. John Thune is not interested in doing that, and many of the people in his caucus aren't interested either, because they just walked out on all of us for vacation here for 2 weeks. It's absurd. You're muted.
Sorry about that. We have one more story to hit to that I think might make you a little even more mad. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not as mad.
Do I seem mad?
No.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Rightfully mad, right?
Yeah.
There's a mural someone put up, a artist put up in Rhode Island, I think it is, of Irina Zarutsky. Here it is. And she obviously, if you don't know, was the one that was killed on the train. Was that, where was that again? New York?
It was in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte, North Carolina, that's right. And I guess people are upset about it. She didn't really do anything. No one really knew what her views on anything was. It's just respecting her and putting a mural up of her. And here is even a representative, David Morales, upset about this mural. Watch.
Sure that every community member that calls Providence home feels safe. And we can both agree that this mural behind us does not reflect Providence's values, nor does it reflect the creativity that we want to see in our city. Ultimately,
All right. So it doesn't reflect our values or the creativity we want to see in our city, and it's being taken down now.
Okay, well then that helps us very clearly define their values. I guess the values of Providence, Rhode Island are to allow criminal illegals to murder people in trains. Apparently that's what he's promoting here. That is what Democrats are promoting. And they're literally doing it like they don't, they want chaos. I've talked about this many times. Their goal is chaos, but they also want murder and violent chaos. That's clearly what they want. I mean, the absurdity of an elected representative saying what this guy just said is an outrage. This is what we're fighting with Democrats and these feckless idiot Republicans that won't fight back around the country, particularly in Washington. Who are you people? I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. And we've got to fight back against this because Democrats are seeking to overthrow the American Republic. This is a long-form insurrection against American ideals and the foundational principles upon which we were founded.
Yep. Yeah. He's acting like she's some political figure. Like they put Charlie Kirk up there.
She was a girl that was murdered on a train. Someone's trying to memorialize her because of the tragedy of what happened to her. We just saw her mother in tears at the State of the Union address and rightly honored for all that she has had to go through and treated with the appropriate amount of sympathy that she deserves. For Democrats in that very audience promoting principles, promoting policies that allow a murderer to have killed her daughter. I mean, it's the most absurd thing to watch these Democrats. And I listen, we need something like No Kings rallies rising up against Democrats right now because they are literally attempting to destroy everything that this country means, every good thing that this country has ever represented. They do not represent it in any shape, form, or fashion. There is nothing that Democrats support right now that is good. Nothing. It's bad enough how I got to deal with Republicans not staying on line with that. That's a problem that can be fixed. You can't fix the idiocy, the insanity, the gross misrepresentation of reality that is what the Democrat Party represents at this stage. Yeah. And we've got to work harder to oppose that.
Yep. Well, we're all out of time. Go to theconservativecaucus.com to stay with Jim. And you tweet a good amount, Jim, at Jim Pfaff on X.
At Jim Pfaff. Yep.
At Jim Pfaff on X. And watch us at worldviewtube.com. Till then, take care.